The last OlliOlli game, 2015's OlliOlli 2 Welcome to Olliwood, was a breath of fresh air for the skating genre. Its stylized art, intense level design, and challenging trick system all helped it stand out. 7 years later, OlliOlli World has all those things going for it too, but it also takes a huge step forward. Its transition into a 3D engine gives its skating a better sense of scale, speed, and dynamism, while still maintaining a 2D perspective. Its gameplay builds significantly on Olliwood's technical foundation, layering in grabs, wall rides, and more. And lastly, it goes out of its way to be more welcoming, without losing the fiercely high skill ceiling the series is known for. OlliOlli World's colourful, cartoony look and character-centric approach is the first thing that had me saying, ooh. Not just because it's very pretty in its own right, but also because it's very reminiscent of one of my favourite cartoon locations, Adventure Time's Kingdom of Ooh. It's also similar in its effervescent and eccentric personality, but thankfully doesn't feel derivative, striking out on its own with a world populated by endearingly offbeat characters and a story that doesn't take itself seriously yet is enjoyably earnest at the same time. The approach certainly works for me, and the insane level of character customization helped me realise my own oddball character to add to the world. The breadth of options here is truly impressive, and you'll even get to see a host of other players' creations throughout your journey across Radlandia. Once you start skating, the new presentation really starts to pop. The OlliOlli games have always felt fast and responsive, but World cranks this right up, with super smooth character animations and a number of dynamic elements. Levels are full of absolutely thrilling white-knuckle sequences, from the big and showy, through the more technical and intricate. Levels are no longer just left to right affairs either, but can sweep back and forth, utilising quarter pipes and complex switchbacks. There are often multiple paths to take and planes to skate on, and even loops within levels. I love the iconography for the alternate gnarly routes too. That's one angry skateboard. One note is that while all the main levels are fantastic, some of the side quests are a little unexciting, which makes finding the characters that host these challenges less rewarding than it could have been. On the other hand, one side quest has you race a bear riding an inflatable tube down a river. So, there's that. The trick mechanics are as impressive as the levels. You're no longer just grinding, flip tricking, and spinning with manuals joining them together, but also wall riding, pulling and tweaking grabs, fitting in late tricks, and even negotiating stairs via the aptly named Firecracker. I love incorporating stairs into combos, and all the new inclusions make building your score multiplier much more interesting. With so much going on, it's easy to imagine how OlliOlli World's mechanics could feel completely overwhelming. And yet, while it's absolutely crammed with things to learn, it takes a very relaxed approach to introducing them all, with tutorials peppered throughout the relatively modest campaign. The gradual pace allows you to get used to each new addition as you incorporate them into your flow. OlliOlli World is a far more forgiving game than its predecessors too. If you're holding the left stick in preparation for a flip trick, for instance, you can still push with your foot to build speed. There's no penalty for setting yourself too early. And if you're rotating in the air and land side on, you won't crash, you'll just get less points than if you completed the rotation and landed perfectly. You can even land side on in a manual and continue your combo. OlliOlli World isn't interested in punishing your mistakes, it's focused on rewarding your execution. And if you do bail, it's not as painful as it looks because getting back up and skating again is instantaneous. A tap of a button will reset you back to the last checkpoint, while holding it for a second starts the whole run again. The checkpoint system itself takes a little getting used to though, as these spots aren't just valuable for restarts, but for banking points too, lest you lose them all through an overambitious combo. Given OlliOlli World is designed to be welcoming to players of all skill levels, just about anyone will be able to see everything Radlandia has to offer. But that's only the start. I had a mountain of challenges left to do once I beat the final level, for instance, and it was a joy going back to the beginning with a fuller understanding of the mechanics and thrashing my previous high scores, as well as beating the score challenges on every level. Well, almost every level. Some of the numbers towards the end get pretty insane. In fact, to beat those late game scores, you have no real choice but to complete each level in one combo. And even then, there's a big difference between just scraping through and maximizing your path, tricks, and timing. OlliOlli World may not be hard to complete, but it's excellent that there are punishingly difficult challenges waiting for those who want to attempt them once they do. On top of chasing scores, each level also has 3 bespoke challenges from one of your traveling companions, the somewhat simple-minded magazine editor, Mike. And these incorporate collectibles, alternate routes, specific trick spots, and more. Beating the game brings additional unlocks too, including 2 new modes. These are an online league system that sees skaters around the world vie for high scores on a daily leaderboard, as well as a basic but powerful random level generator that's perfect for testing your skills in each of the main areas and sharing cool challenges with friends. Radlandia may seem like an offbeat location for a skating game, but in reality it's a wonderfully eclectic reflection of what OlliOlli World itself is trying to be. In this vibrant place, skating is an obsession and an escape, whether you're wall riding through a forest or grinding across an incredibly industrial factoryscape. Its gameplay has enough depth to challenge hardcore players to master its level-long combos, but it's also a smooth and exciting ride for novices, backed by characters that are quirky and passionate. These elements ring true in every facet of its design, from the more forgiving approach to basic gameplay, through to the new mechanics and refinements that make the skill ceiling higher than ever. OlliOlli World is a fantastic evolution of what was already an outstanding skating series. For more reviews, check out our verdict on Dying Light 2 and Pokemon Legends Arceus. And for everything else, stick with IGN.